But that's not where the money is. The money, if you really want to make money in Ghana, is through the dirt. Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, today I want us to talk about making money in Ghana. When I'm talking about making money, I'm not talking about the obvious ways that most diasporans or a lot of diasporans will try to make money, which is through selling land, sometimes real estate, whatever, right? I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about things that really make you money in Ghana, and those are the dirty jobs. Now, one thing about Ghana is that Ghanaians like respectable jobs, right? They like jobs where you get dressed up, you're going to office, you're working in a bank, those kind of jobs. Those are the ones that are really well respected. So if you have like some type of bank job or something like that, that's amazing. Like people will respect you, like salute, you know? But if you say like, oh, me, I'm a laborer or whatever, people are like, You know, like, it's not as respected. It's just the way that Ghana is. And for the longest time, as long as I can remember, it's always been that way. Like, people do not respect the dirty jobs. They respect more office type jobs, you know, those kind of corporate style things, right? But that's not where the money is. The money, if you really want to make money in Ghana, is through the dirty jobs, the jobs that nobody really wants to do. Those are the ones, right? Let's take, for example, the guy that picks the bola, the rubbish, right? Even look at how we look at people that do bin jobs, collect the bin in like the West. We're like, oh, what a dirty job. Most of us will be like, oh my gosh, it stinks. Like, I could never do that. But that's how a lot of us think, right? But that's where the money is. That's where it is. I'm telling you. Listen, a bola guy here, right? He will have like the motorbike with the thing at the back, and he'll just go around to different people's houses and collect trash. You think about it. On the low end, if you're lucky, in some areas, some rural areas maybe, he may charge you 80 cedis for the month, right? Otherwise, it's like, say 150, more realistic, 150 to 200, right, to collect your rubbish once a month. And they come out once a week to take your rubbish, right? So you think about it. How many customers does he have to have in order to make a good salary? An office job, right, will pay you something along the lines, maybe 3,000-4,000 on the higher end, right, a month. You think about how many times a guy has to come, pick up your trash and dump it. How many customers he needs to make that same amount of money, and his potential earning on top of that. It doesn't take a whole lot. How many customers does he really need? I can't do the calculation off the top of my head right now. But how many customers does he really need? Okay, so even if he has, say, 10 customers, right? And it's 200 cedis, just for argument's sake, 200 cedis per customer. That's 2,000 cedis for the month. Already, just for the month. That's just it, right? Obviously, he deducts his overheads or whatever, but I mean, when you go to a corporate office job, you still have to take off your transport. So, you know, that's neither here nor there. So we're not going to go into those little itty-bitty details. But at the end of the day, that's his potential. 20 customers is even small. He may even have 50 customers. Can you imagine what his earning potential is? And that doesn't mean he collects them all in one day, even though he only comes to you once a week, right? That doesn't mean, oh, he only goes out to work once a week. He's got 7 days in a week. He could be collecting on any day, any of those days. He may do particular areas on particular days of the week. Maybe one day he's doing cantonments, another day he's doing airport, another day he's doing a denta, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? And on those days he does maybe to collect 20 people's bins. Can you imagine how much money is being made just in that? But most people, most Ghanaians, if you ask them, would you like to be a bola man? They'll be like, they don't want to do it because it's seen as a dirty job. And while it is a dirty job, that's where the money is. If you want to make real money, that's where it is. You're not going to make money sitting behind a desk somewhere, you know. So if you're coming to Ghana and you're thinking about making a business, these are the types of businesses which are good. Can you imagine being, and I'm talking that, when I gave the example of the bola man, that is just one man and his bike, on his motorbike. Can you imagine if you are the person that owns that business and you have, say, 5 bikes go out? 5 bikes at a time. Can you imagine how much money you're actually bringing in? Like, you have to think about it. The jobs that are dirty are the ones that Ghanaians don't do. And so because Ghanaians don't do them, they become in high demand. When we think about things like carpenters, even electricians. Electricians is a skillful job, right? Those skillful jobs, a lot of people don't do them. They don't want to learn. They don't want to be underneath a master, they call it a master. So if someone has been doing in a field for a very long time, right, they become a master at the game. So when they take on apprentices, the apprentices call them master. When I first came to Ghana, that was the most unusual thing to me. In fact, sometimes they do it even for house help does it as well. I've heard house help be like, my master, something, something. It's really weird. It's something that you probably have to get used to. I haven't really heard it as much recently. I do hear it amongst like workers in skilled trades, but I haven't really heard it for house help for a long time, but it's there. So yeah, those are the jobs that are like in demand. Carpenters, electricians, plumbers, those things. Most people don't want to go to that. They want to have some type of job that looks good to society. And so that's what people strive for. It's only until times get hard that they start to look at these other jobs. But, you know, anyway, that's just how it is. So those are the things that you want to look at. So I gave the example of the baller man, but there are so many other things that people can do. Even if you get a contract for cleaning gutters. How many people want to clean gutters? Nobody wants to. You're talking about poop and stuff like that, like all the dirt and, do you know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants to do it. But if you get a contract for cleaning gutters, it's money. There is money to be made, and you don't necessarily have to have one of these big, massive establishments where, you know, you have an office where you have 20 people working for you, and then you're going outside and you're cleaning gutters for people. It doesn't even have to be like that. Ghana's not like that. You don't need all of that show. You can literally just have a good business model where you are getting these government contracts because you're able to network with the right people in order to get contracts, right? And then you hire people to do it. And you pay them well because it's a job that nobody wants to do, but if you pay them good, you'll get people to do it. And then you can literally be printing money just like that. Even jobs like, I don't know, people don't like this, chotra and stuff like that, right? You have a fleet of nice chotras that are collecting people. You can build businesses out of that. These are not necessarily things that people think. I mean, we see chotras all over the place. Most of the chotras that we see on the road, and if you don't know what a chotra is like a minivan, right? So have maybe 15 seats in it that people get on they use it like a bus, right? To pick up people along the roadside. But if you have nice ones, and I'm yet to see nice ones like maybe air conditioned or whatever. Do you know that there's a market for that? Because most people don't take chocha because it's hot. You're on the bus, you're squeezed up next to somebody like this. You are twins, you know, it's hot, you're sweating, you're smelling somebody's armpit next to you and all of that stuff. People don't want to do that. But if you can provide a service where your buses are air conditioned, you know, you have enough seating space for people, and you are regular, so people can even hire you up front, and you don't charge too much. So that you don't charge too much. You've got a nice in between the trotra and Uber, right? Because people look at that and be like, oh, well, it'll be cheaper for me to take a taxi or an Uber or whatever. I just get on my way and go. But if you can be reliable for people and you make certain stops, I haven't seen anybody do that. That idea just came to me literally. I've not seen anybody do that where they can have that service where they're literally picking up people and people know that, okay, well, the bus is going to be here at this time to take me from Adenta, and it will stop off in Accra every day at 8 a.m. for me to get to work at 9, and then it comes back at a certain time. Well, I haven't seen anybody do that, or even do multiple stops on the way, so it stops in different places along the way. And it's air conditioned, it's nice. You charge people, I don't know, 20 cities a ride or something like that, right? If you can get a fleet of those on the road, do you think that business wouldn't grow? A lot of people don't have cars because it's hard to get a car in Ghana. It is very, very difficult. Between finding a car that actually works properly and won't break down on you the minute you buy it and turn the key, to, you know, just like road problems and the expense of it. You know, cars in Ghana are very expensive. I can buy a car in the UK. I can have £3,000 in my pocket and buy a car in the UK and be fine, right? Come here with £3,000, you're not going to get a car. It'll be very difficult for you to find a car. Even if you find one that's going to be in that price range, right? It's probably got a lot of problems that you're going to have to fix. Now you're going to have to find a mechanic you take your car to the mechanic. Every 3 days you go to the mechanic to fix your car, right? So A lot of people don't want to invest in a car. A lot of people don't always live here full time. They're here sometimes and they're not. And then, you know, all of that stuff. So if you have a bus that's air conditioned that will take people up and down and you charge them something that's reasonable and then it's reliable, you can have a market. It's a market that can grow here. There are things in Ghana that can be done if we can think outside the box and stop thinking about that our only business is to those in the diaspora. Ghanaians also have money. Ghanaians also have needs. Some Ghanaians are very, very rich as well. And maybe the rich ones won't take your car. But, you know, there are always going to be ways that you can make money without it being the regular way of selling lands, going into real estate, you know, being a YouTuber, whatever, right? There are ways that you can make money if only we can think outside the box. And honestly speaking, the money is from the dirty jobs, the skilled labor. If you can have a business where, you know, you hire plumbers or you train plumbers up from small and you teach them the trade and you keep them under your wing, right? And you get them jobs, you win them contracts. You win them contracts with the diaspora because the diaspora, let's be honest, right? A lot of the diaspora has trust issues when it comes to a lot of these types of jobs, when it comes to electricians, plumbers, carpenters, all of that, welders, whatever, right? We don't trust a lot of what's happening. So if we have someone who has a business like that and is looking at what their staff is doing and they have like 10 people, 10 great welders, like it's a business that a lot of us can trust and be like, okay, I'm going to hire this person. And when you have a business like that, right, you don't have to be extortionate about it. You don't have to charge over the odds. You make it a little bit over what someone can get a local person from. Because let's be honest, a lot of us that are here, you know, we like to pay local rates as much as possible, as close to local rates as possible. So if you have things and you're only charging a little bit on top of what maybe a local person does, but we get reliability, we get good customer service, we get guarantees. If this happens, we'll come back and we'll fix it, we'll sort it for you without the person having to repay all over again. Once you take the headache from people, then you have a great business model. Nobody wants to... Do you know how many things I've fixed and then it's like, it's not working. I have to call the person back and like, well, I'm going to have to charge you another fee on top because, you know, I have to call the boys won't come out for free. Like that whole thing, I hate it so much. But if someone has a model where it mitigates those risks, so there's a little upcharge to cover those things, then it makes sense. That's how you make money. So it's not necessarily about here and starting some office job where I'm going to teach people how to do customer service. Honestly, most people are over that type of job. I'm not saying it can't work, but that type of business, because most people won't listen. You say you want to come and you want to teach people how to do proper customer service. How many people are going to buy and pay for their workers to come and learn how to do customer service? Most people won't, and that's just the truth. So doesn't mean it can't work. It's just maybe be a harder grind for you, that's all. But if you can think about the dirty jobs that are around that a lot of people may not want to get into, that's where you can make your money. So that's something to think about. So don't just come to Ghana and think about all the normal ways, the easy ways that people, well, they're not easy ways, but the regular ways that people tend to make money. Think outside the box. Think about the dirty jobs. Think about how you can make people's lives easier. That's where you're going to find money. That's where there's money at the end of the rainbow. Okay, anyway, I'm going to leave the video right there. Let me know what you think. I would love to also hear from you if you have started some type of business that is considered a dirty job. And let me know what you think. If you would like to do a one-to-one consultation with me about moving to Ghana, send me an email to dela@moretodela.com. Also, I have 2 one-bedroom apartments that are available for rent. For your long-term or short-term stay, send me an email to the same email address. If you would also like to purchase some of my shea butter, you can send me an email or you can go to the website, which is www.fafabydela.com, and you can purchase some shea butter there. It's great for the skin. Anyways, that's the end of today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment, and share this video. Until next time, I am out. Papa.